How I got to multiple four figures a year with a small rabbitry. All right, I get this a lot because they hear multiple four figures and are like, I can't even grasp it. So let me clarify what that means first. Yes, more than 2,000 a year. So I have on hand, on average, 10 to 12 breeding animals at a time. That's it. I don't have any more than that, because people kind of like, oh, they assume I have hundreds or even multiple hundreds, because that is very normal for people who show, but I do not. I have always been very, very small, and that might seem like a lot to some of you, but for the show world, that is extremely small. um, so I keep it very small because, for one, I think that's a happy number that I can manage them all myself. Could I handle a few more? Sure, but it would be getting a little bit dicey um, if I went to more than probably 15. So yeah, I keep it very, very small. And I also get about $150 a piece. That is probably only been within the last 3 years that I charged that, but when I first started, I was only charging $50 a piece. And it slowly, incrementally went up and all of that. So obviously, it was not that in the beginning. But like you will find out, you have to grow as your skills grow and also as your reputation builds. The number one thing that I think, if I boiled it all down to, is that I showed up consistently. Now, so many people, and I see this, and if this is you, I'm not knocking it or, picking on you or whatever, but I will hear from many, many people who are like, they want that, but then they also, in the same voice and in the same sentence, admit that, well, I have to admit I didn't, post that often, or I didn't show up all the time, blah, 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 all of this, right? That's the problem right there. You have to continually show up, even on the days when it feels like you literally have nothing to post. The reason I'm not going to talk about platforms or anything in this video is because I don't think it matters. I think ultimately it matters that you pick your one platform and show up on it, and not just post a cute picture and with a heart eyes emoji. You have to give people a reason to care or want the rabbits from you instead of someone else. Okay? So I started raising this breed in 2009. That was right around my latter teen years, like 17, 18. And then I've had that breed, like I've piddled with a breed or two in between there, but that has been my consistent breed and that I have focused on. A lot of reasons or where I see a lot of breeders go wrong is they have 4 or 5 different breeds. And so that also takes your focus off of that breed. And as much as I hate to admit it, and I hear this a lot in the business world too, I hesitate to say niche down in your breed, but become known for one very, very well before you add another, okay? I love French Slops, and they're just me. Like, sure, I've seen ones that I like, and I will kind of have one off to the side and, piddle with it every once in a while, but ultimately my heart comes back to them. And so that's never been really a huge problem for me. But if I wanted to sell another breed, I have a big enough reputation now, it wouldn't be a problem. And so choose your one breed and get known for that, and show up all the time. Now, this one kind of leads into what I just said. I did the opposite of what everyone else did when it came to rabbits and the way rabbitry owners showed up. Having at least a free website of some kind and a Facebook page is very, very common now. However, you can go check them out and you will see at minimum 6 months of no posting at all. And so I know this can be very, very hard, and it's taken me years to learn what to post in the off seasons of like winter, because I don't have litters in the winter. And so in height of summer, it's very easy to come up with something to post. But when you don't have that, you need to come up with something you can post anyways. So at minimum once a week, do not let your page go more than a week without posting. Obviously, if life happens and you're 2 weeks, fine. But what I typically like to do every winter is, right before the holidays, maybe October, I will come up with the theme that I want to post all the way through the winter and then break it out each week. Last year I did like an introductory kind of like, these are the rabbits, meet them, a post of them, I share their quirks, maybe like their good features when it came to their conformation, things like that. So that was an idea that I did last year. This year I shared more on how to get one from me. I'll get to this in a minute, but my line in the sand statements. So the things that really make me stand out and the things I will not budge on. I don't care how many people think that something else is the way to go. If I have a good reason for something and back it up, I shared things like that. I will get to the top things that I think you need if you want this to be a long-term strategy or a long-term, you want to be able to make at least a little bit of money every year off of the livestock you raise. And I say that because, yes, rabbits are my focus, but it can be anything, okay? So take this with and apply it to whatever animals you raise, okay? Start with one platform that is easy for you to do the first year. Then switch to another platform that you own or that you can constantly be driving people back to. We don't own these platforms, and you are essentially building your business on someone else's land. And that is one thing that I have always tried to do, is be different than everyone else. And me being the total introvert that I naturally am, it's hard. It's very hard. And it takes a lot of energy for me to do things like this, but I'm good at it. And I know what to do, and it works. And you have to weigh the things of, what do I want? Do I want the business? Do I want to make money with the animals that I love to raise? Or am I just going to piddle and half-ass it? But then I have to be okay with the results I get. Okay, you can't have both. This is not a world of participation trophies and you don't get the same results. People are not going to come to you if you choose not to market. Just the way it is. I did not start with high numbers. Don't go out and buy 5 or 6 or 10 or 12 rabbits and then have litters and assume that you're going to sell them all right away. I had 3 rabbits my first year. 2 of them were bucks. I don't recommend 2 bucks. You only need 1 to start off. But you need to start small, sell the ones you have, like have 1 litter, do 1 trial run the first year, and then the next year, if you sold them relatively quickly, get another doe and do 2 litters the next year, and keep building on that. Like I said, 2009 was my start of the year. That is 13, 14 years. And it took me probably 10 of those to get to my 10 rabbits, my at least significant amount of income. Because also with my breed is a giant breed, considered a giant breed, it cost me $1,000 a year to feed them, like all 10 to 12-ish of them. So you're gonna eat through your expense or your income very fast if you buy too many and before you can sell all of them. So normally I hesitate when people are very slow and very planned, but this is an instance where you need to be slower when it comes to growing and expanding out. Okay? Grow as your demand grows. Now that is something, it kind of ties into what I just said, but start with 1 year, maybe do a litter, and then see how quickly those sell. Start marketing them before you even have the breed that you're going to get, if at all possible. Take people on the journey of, this is the breed we're looking for. I am searching through, online listings. I am looking for breeders. There is so much content. If you just document what you're doing and getting people excited for what's to come, get them wanting what you have, before it's ready to go. That is how I get people placing deposits, contacting me all year long, literally all year long, wanting rabbits. So, don't think that you can just, as soon as they're bred and born, then start marketing, because you're asking people to make a continual commitment to care for this animal until it dies. Ultimately, that is what you're asking people to do. And so it's not necessarily always the money that you charge that is the problem, but animals are commitment, and they should be. I am not of the mindset that they're not equal to humans, not by a long shot. However, they are God's animals, and you should care for them well. And so, you owe it to your animals to keep in a good financial position so you can care for them well. Okay? So grow as your demand grows. Your line in the sand statements. I am stubborn, and I have certain things that I will not budge on. Mainstream media does not like rabbits on wire. That is the healthiest way to raise them. The reason that people don't like them is because of this thing called sorehawks. But if you are a good enough breeder and you are not using the animals that have issues with that, then that should not be a problem. So that is a lot healthier for them. I don't believe rabbits should have a buddy, like another rabbit buddy. If you want them to be nicer with you, why would you give them something else to put their attention on? And also, rabbits are not herd animals. We're expecting them to live like dogs in a pack when they do not even do that naturally. So I'm going to calm down and not get on that rabbit tangent, or rabbit hole, pun intended. But why are we expecting them to live in a manner that does not even come naturally to them because it makes us feel good? That's just ultimately it. People try to logicalize it out and humanize animals when they are animals. They are not humans. And so have hard things like that are your line in the sand statements that you will not budge on. I also require very good behavior from my rabbits. I will not tolerate bad behavior. And so, I don't care if someone has come to me and is like, there was this one lady who, she was saying that, her rabbit would, lay across her neck and nip her and, even leave marks. And I'm thinking, yeah, no. That is not behavior that you accept. Rabbits will lick each other, but he is trying to boss you. That's not cute. And so, I just stopped talking at that point. And I realized, she's not budging. I'm not budging. So have your statements or your line in the sand positions to where people see that and they go, when people respect that more than you think. It's very easy to kind of get afraid of those things, but when you have those things, it's never once harmed me for not being able to get business or people to take my word for it. That's the thing, is that you have your stance on it. You tell them the things that you believe are true and that need to be done. But ultimately, it's up to them to listen to you. Once the rabbit leaves your possession, that's their thing now. That's their animal. So you can't control that. It's up to you to educate them and then let it go. That's all you can do. So have those things. Think about them. Be willing to put them out there. That is what makes you different. That is what makes you stand out from all the 500 other mini lop racers or mini Rex racers. I don't think the breed matters all that much, but you have to be unique. You have to give people a reason to want to buy from you. Yes, I have a very in-demand, hard-to-find breed. However, there are plenty of people that they could go to besides me. But I get people coming back, being on my wait list for sometimes over a year to get one from me. And now they have to pay a deposit to even get on the wait list. I used to have it, you could just, it was kind of like a give me your contact info kind of thing. But that got to be so long that like I couldn't, manage it. It wasn't doable anymore. And so I'm like, if you want to be on it, you got to put skin in the game now. So that makes it much shorter, and it's, less of people who are kind of just toying around with it. All right, on to the 3 things that I think will define you and start to build your profitable livestock sales business. So, rabbits or not, it doesn't matter. You need, like I said, one way for people to find you. That can be social. That a website is not going to do much good for you right off the bat. Being found in search is my number 1 strategy. However, it's a lot of work and it takes a long time for Google to even recognize you. And so you need to have a long-term and a short-term strategy. So I still, as much as I don't like social media, I don't, but it's a necessary evil to the result that I want. So you need a long-term and a short-term strategy if you want to do this more than just kind of piddling, or you want it to last a long time. So your ways for people to find you. Then you need to be able to have a way to show your authority. So by this, I just mean your line in the sand statements kind of do that for you too, but also showing that you know your stuff and you are dedicated. So I cannot tell you, when I was early on, I used Craigslist for a little while, in line with my rabbit website and my Rabbitry website. And I cannot tell you how many times people loved the fact that they could, like, I would put my link in the post description. They could go to that website and check me out and learn more about me. That happened a lot. And so having ways for people to trust you and see, like I said, see that you know your stuff. It can be on just a social platform for a while. Do lives, do teaching posts, do things that are more, like I said, than just a cute picture and an emoji. Show people that you know what you're talking about. I do think if you want to stick with it more than like 4 years, by the year 3 to 4, you should have some kind of website that you own. I think that will help a lot. But again, you have to be dedicated to it. You cannot partially piddle around with it and half-ass it, okay? Constantly be finding ways to be better. This does not mean that you are going to have showstopper animals. This just means ways that you can streamline the process, ways that you can improve the way that you appear to the outsiders. Rabbit shows, like, I get that we show up tired and early. We've been on the road for a long time. But like, some people barely shower, and so that's a problem. Do your best to show up at least with a shower and your hair brushed. Like, I don't have makeup on all the time. Even I'm kind of being a little bit lax with it, even with the videos. Mostly because I just want you guys to see reality. In that, you don't always have to have makeup on and stuff like that. I'm in a sweatshirt today, largely because it's cold. And, there's a difference between a holy t-shirt that is, raggedy versus the one that is clean and washed, right? And, being open to talking to people and not reserved so much that you seem like you just want their money and you want them to leave. Be open to questions. Be open to finding answers to the questions that they have. Multiple times I've tried to help people put pedigrees together of other French Labs that they've gotten from someone else that they found that I had a little bit of some of my lines were in there, and so I gave them the information that I had. Be willing to help people that don't even buy from you. Stuff like that. I have an automated system to where once people pay the deposit, I send them a link and they can give me all the information through Typeform. That is, it's kind of like Google Forms, but I think it's a little nicer. And so I have a free account. I think you don't get as many because I've used it for a long time. So I've been grandfathered in, I believe. But I still think the free one would work. Anyways, but that puts all of their information into Trello for me. And so I can see all their information, things like that that are automated. It seems more professional for them to fill out this quick form than for me to send them like a copy and pasted questionnaire and then for them to type it back in into a messenger or something like that. Um, things like that. Find ways to constantly be improving and giving people more than they expect from you. I print the pedigrees out. I give them a good amount of transition feed when they come to pick up the rabbit. I have a printed guide for people that have the common questions that I get a lot or the issues that I see people come back to me with. Like just certain care things that like a lot of people are Googling and researching and getting the wrong answer for, and they come back with problems. Continually show up. It doesn't have to be a lot all the time, but show up. Answer your DMs. Do what you have to do in order to make that happen. Okay? Is it easy? No. But do you want the results or do you not? That's what we have to leave it with. All right? I hope this was helpful for you. If you have other questions along this line and you want a video about it, drop it in the comments.